Today, I'm going to try something different. I've talked about my photography hobby, and so in lieu of staring at me just talking, I'm going to show off some of my photos while I discuss the topics today. I'll also discuss a little about photography and how that is going while I'm on these trips. I've been on trips for something like 30 days last year, and on target to be about 45 days this year, though I haven't locked in all of them. So, how am I doing? Well, hotels are playing a small role. As I said in an earlier video, I'm a fan of Hilton properties, usually Hampton Inn or Hilton Garden Inn, although I'm rarely disappointed with any. These fill in traveling days a lot of the time. On a photography aside, this picture was taken in St. Stephen's Green Park in November of 2023. I used a Canon EF 1740. This is a 4, 1 250th, and 17 millimeter ISO. Using my Canon R5, this is a nice image focusing on the brick building near one of the park entrances. Planning. This is important to mixed work vacation trips. It lets you maximize your travel while keeping costs and vacation usage in check. If you can't plan 10 months ahead, then just enjoy the photos and ignore the rest of what I'm saying. How I'm doing these trips with family while working may be obvious to some of the astute among you from my previous trip videos, but I'm going to directly address it now.
I'm in a bit of a secret club, one that most people know little about, and what they do know is negative timeshares. Like many things in life, there are people who get taken for a ride, but this also gives opportunities to do really well if you learn what you're doing. I'll go over exactly how I started getting multiple weeks a year for less to way less than a hotel. This is right off our deck at Hilton Head Island this January. Quite a bird. Here's another, though I couldn't get a great angle for his head. You need to think about timeshares a different way than they're often discussed. I call them a vacation membership club and liken them to Sam's Club or Costco, except there can be a joining fee. Oh, and the yearly membership fee includes one vacation trip, usually around a week long. Many also provide a membership in a secondary club, or the ability to join that club for a couple hundred of dollars a year. These are exchange companies. The exciting part about the exchange companies is their two cash options for additional weeks, and this is what makes it easy for me to go for so many weeks. But before I talk up the exchange companies, I need to talk about how, like a club store, there is a limited number of timeshares. There are thousands, but not millions like hotels. So it's important to be willing to reverse your thinking on trip planning. Don't have a specific destination in mind, but a general region, Florida, for example. There's also resort hotspots like Myrtle Beach or Orlando, which can work well. Then you want to fish for availability, which is to say, well in advance, figure out what timeshares are in the location so you know which place to be looking. Then you pick a month or two when you'd like to go there and see if it's available. Once you find a match, you book it and go. The other way to look is to be ready to travel within the next 45 days and check for last minute deals and let that pick where you go. Now, the first option gets you additional weeks for less than about $2,000 in many cases. Now, these aren't necessarily savings, but you might get more value for your money. I'll discuss that later. The second option will usually net weeks for less than $500, which is a screaming deal usually. As I said before, there's a value difference between hotels and timeshares. Timeshares have a lot of benefits over hotel rooms that are usually overlooked when talking about them. First is just many are two bedrooms, so you need to compare to two hotels or three, depending on the size of the timeshare unit. Most also have a full kitchen, which makes a huge difference. Many hotels don't have any fridge anymore. Forget about a full size one. So you can bring your leftovers back and actually store them. Even more important, they have a stove, oven, and microwave, so you can reheat those leftovers and actually eat them. You can also cook meals in the unit because it has utensils, pots, plates, and a dishwasher. You can get frozen food or cook fresh just like at home. This is a bigger deal than just saving a lot of money on food in two ways. It also makes it possible to live with dietary restrictions that some members of your party may have. This is a photo I like quite a bit. It's on my 24 to 70 at 50 millimeters, f2.8 ISO 3200, 1/100th of a second. It's in the West End of London in the middle of November 2023, beside the musical Wicked. Timeshares also have laundry facilities. usually in the unit, which lets you cut down on how many clothes you have to bring. This helps lighten the checked baggage load when flying. They also usually have a living room and kitchen table to eat or work at. Finally, if you've got a unit with multiple bedrooms, there's usually at least 2 bathrooms. All of this makes timeshares a great value, even if you're paying about the same as the hotel rate because of how many other things you're getting. But wait, there's more. Many resorts have activities, events, and facilities from saunas to tennis courts, crafts to singers. Every resort has access to golf or skiing, it seems like. Now, most of these you do have to pay for, but they are often right on site. So, if they're so great, why such negative press? There are a few things most people do wrong with timeshares that gives them a bad rap. First is they buy while on a sponsored vacation without any real idea what they're buying. They take out a huge loan and pay way too much up front to join the club. Then they try and use timeshares wrong, or worse, just never actually try and use them. Not using something you pay a lot of money for is always going to cause frustration. This photo is from a trip to Vermont in September 2023. We looked at a few covered bridges on a drizzly day. F2.8, 1/250th at 70 millimeters, ISO 400 on my EF 24-70 f2 lens. I really like this lens and use it for a large number of my photos. How do you avoid the pitfalls of timeshares? First and foremost, in my opinion, is you need to know you are going to travel for at least 2 weeks a year. Driving is best, or have a friend or relative come with you and have them pay the getting there cost of a plane ticket while you pay the staying there cost of the timeshare. Second is do not buy a timeshare from a salesman while on vacation. There really is no such thing as a new timeshare, so don't pay retail prices. Buy the timeshare from another owner resale. This is often pennies on the dollar to absolutely, completely free to you. Third is know what you're buying. Understand that it's usually real estate, so you can't just stop using it. You need to give it away or sell it. There will be fees for filing deeds and waiting on county clerks.
Next video, I'll discuss how to buy a timeshare right, what to look for based on a couple ways you might use it, and talk about an amazing resource for you to check out.